Get ready, Padres fans. It's time for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Tatis hit third, 2 outs. Fernando takes off. He's going to steal home without a play.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, and our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the New York Yankees in the first game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Yankees, left-hander Carlos Rodon, and for the Padres, right-hander Yu Darvish. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40 as the Padres begin a 6-game homestand against the Yankees and the Marlins. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, you'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We have a lot to get to. We'll hear from Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, and in just a little bit, we check in with Padres radio voice Jesse Agler. But first, let's set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. Padres entered today with a record of 27-26. Padres went they just went 5-2 on a road trip to Atlanta and Cincinnati. They've won 6 of their last 7 series. Padres playing well overall right now. They're 13-9 in their last 22 games. Yankees, meanwhile, have been the best team in the American League. They come in at a record of 35-17. Yankees are 16-5 in the month of May. They just split a 4-game series with the Mariners, winning the last 2 games of that series. Yankees have won 9 of their last 11, and their starting pitching lately really, really good. A 0.92 ERA in that span of 11 games. Before we turn our full attention to this series against the Yankees, let's take a quick look back at what went down yesterday in Cincinnati.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
The Padres got off to a quick start against Red starter Frankie Montas in the top of the first inning. There were runners on first and third with 2 out for Manny Machado.
Profar at first, Tatis at third. The pitch lined sharply in the air down the right field line. Martini over into the corner. He's looking up. It bounces against the base of the wall. Tatis has scored. Profar's on his way. The throw goes to second. No chance. A 2-run double. And the Padres lead it 2-0 here in the first.
Padres led 3-1 in the second. Luis Arraez picked up his second hit of the day with this.
0-1. Montas delivers, and Arraez off the handle, floats it into shallow right field. That's going to get down in a base hit. Merrill trots home from third, an RBI single. Luis Arraez, he's 2 for 2, and the Padres lead it 4-1.
The Reds would come back to tie the game. A 2-run home run in the 6th inning from Nick Martini. We were tied at 4. We went to the 10th inning, still tied at 4. The Padres had runners on first and third with nobody out for Fernando Tatis Jr.
Maul is ready. Here's the 2-2 to Fernando. Swung on, ripped fair down the left field line. That's going to go to the corner. Campusano can walk home from third. Arraez is speeding towards third. He'll be held there. Tatis into second with an RBI double. And the Padres go back in front, 5-4 here in the 10th.
Padres ended up scoring 2 runs in the top of the 10th inning to make it 6-4. Robert Suarez shut the door in the bottom half.
Suarez stares into Campusano. Now he comes set. The 1-2 pitch kind of muscled off the handle into shallow left. Kim is back. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Padres wrap up a 5-2 road trip with a 10-inning win here in Cincinnati. The final score this afternoon, the Padres 6 and the Reds 4.
Padres, like Jesse alluded to, completing a 5-2 road trip, 3 out of 4 in Atlanta, then taking 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati. And now we'll see if the Padres can keep the good vibes going here at home with right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres here tonight. We'll have much more on our pitching matchup between Darvish and Carlos Rodon. But Yu Darvish has been absolutely outstanding since coming off the IL. He has not allowed a run since coming off the IL in a span of 4 starts in the midst of a 25 consecutive scoreless inning streak. Let's go inside the radio booth here at Petco Park.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
We go down the way here at Petco Park. We're joined by Padres radio voice Jesse Agler as we get ready for this series opener on a gorgeous Friday night here in downtown San Diego. Jesse, Padres coming off a 5-2 road trip, playing some good baseball. Yankees in town, Aaron Judge in town, Juan Soto in town. I'm pretty hyped up for this one. How about you?
Yeah, man. I mean, anytime you see this team, it seems like a big deal, and that is sort of the nature of the New York Yankees. And, whether we're talking about the World Series in 1998 or we're talking about a regular season series here in May of 2024, it is an event. When the Yankees are here, particularly when you consider, I think there's only the third series that teams have ever played here at Petco Park against one another. You know, they had one at Qualcomm in 2001, a couple here, and they have not played the Padres in this building, the Yankees, since 2016. Of course, they did play the Tampa Bay Rays here during the 2020 postseason, but that's kind of a different story altogether.
We take a look at this series. Let's start with today's starting pitching matchup, Yu Darvish against Carlos Rodon, and in particular, Yu Darvish. Obviously, Jesse, he's been very, very good since coming off the IL. Really, that's putting it lightly. He's been excellent since coming off the IL. What has stood out to you about what Darvish is doing in these last 4 starts?
Not allowing runs. That was my attempt at humor. I mean, he's been untouchable. It's been really, really fun to watch. And I hope this doesn't come off like a backhanded compliment of him because it's not intended that way. But to see a guy at 37 years old just continue to dominate, and continue maybe if it isn't even the right word because he's not just continuing, he's just constantly reinventing himself. And I'm excited. You know, I'm working with Bob this weekend, and I'm excited to kind of dig into that with scans and just what it is about Yu Darvish here in 2024 because he is a different kind of pitcher than, we've seen in the past. Not that we haven't necessarily seen this version of Yu before, but it's like, okay, is this more like 2022 Yu Darvish as opposed to 2023? It's just an amazing thing that a guy can kind of go out there and do it so many different ways. Obviously, his pitch mix is a part of that, but he's a remarkable talent. I find him to really, I think we're going to look back when all is said and done, you're going to be able to say he's had one of the most fascinating careers of any pitcher in baseball history. You know, when you consider his background, his upbringing, his journey to the major leagues, and then sort of what he has done as he has thrown over the course of a very long major league career now, I am fascinated by Yu Darvish endlessly, and I'm glad that we're going to have a few more years of getting to watch him pitch.
Yeah, really well said. Should be a lot of fun to watch him against this very good Yankees lineup here tonight. Let's talk a little bit about the offense, Jesse, because this is a tough test here at home against a Yankees rotation that has been really good. There's a lot of talk about Judge and Soto and what those guys do, but the rotation for New York without Garrett Cole has also been excellent. Carlos Rodon has been really good this year. Jesse, let's throw out the 2 shutouts on the road trip. Let's talk about the 5 wins. When this offense is going right, what stands out to you about what they're doing right now?
It's the pass the baton thing, right? I mean, it's the next guy up, trusting that the guy behind you is going to get it done. And I think what it boils down to really as an observer is that nobody's trying to do too much. And, we eventually diagnosed that as the issue last season, right? With all the troubles with runners in scoring position, all the troubles in the tight games, all the troubles, obviously, in extra innings, and eventually the guys, they were able to say publicly, yeah, we're tight, we're just squeezing the bat a little bit too hard in those situations. This year, and with great intent and purpose, they've had a very different look at it, and they have come out, this season, saying publicly and privately, and then backing it up with their actions on the field, hey, I'm going to let the guy behind me get it done if I don't. And so now you're not trying to hit that 3-run homer with nobody on base. You're not trying to hit the ball 1,000 feet every time you come up. You're saying, I just got to get on some way or another because if I don't get the pitch, it's going to be the RBI double. The next guy is going to get the opportunity to do it. So it's been wonderful to watch. It's funny, I was just kind of casually chatting with a fan on my way up here earlier this afternoon, and we were marveling at how it's just such a more watchable brand of baseball for the Padres in 2024. You know, it's just it's more fun to watch, and obviously they've had some success with it as well.
And a guy that's really fun to watch right now at the very top of the lineup, Luis Arraez. We'll see what Arraez does after 2 consecutive 4-hit games. And you talk about passing the baton, Jesse, that type of offense, man, Luis Arraez, he definitely fits that description of a guy who does that so well. Jesse, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you in Scan tonight coming up at 6:30 as the Padres begin this homestand. Thanks so much.
You got it, Sammy.
All right, that is Jesse Agler joining us here on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for this series opener between the Padres and the Yankees. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll also hear from a number of different players on our pregame coverage: Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, and much more to come. We got a lot to do as we get ready for this one in downtown San Diego. First pitch at 6:40 on the Padres Radio Network. Petco Park as we get ready for Padres baseball on a gorgeous Friday night here in America's finest city. A lot of people inside the loft here tonight drinking their beers and their cocktails and the mixed drinks, and everybody having a good time on this Friday as the Padres welcome in the New York Yankees. As we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Before we hear from the Padres skipper, let's quickly go over the Padres starting lineup here today. Luis Arraez at first base leading off. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field batting second. Jurickson Profar in left field batting third. Manny Machado, the DH, batting cleanup. Jake Cronenworth back at second base for a second consecutive game batting fifth. Donovan Solano in the lineup against the left-hander Carlos Rodon at third base batting sixth. Luis Campusano, the catcher, batting seventh. Jackson Merrill in center batting eighth. And Ha-Sung Kim, the shortstop, batting ninth. With all that in mind, here was Mike Shildt with Mike Pomerantz of Padres TV and me before the game.
You got Jake over at second today. Any more solid plan now as you kick this around, what this might look like rolling through for Bogaerts and his injury?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be somewhat fluid. Jake's two-time All-Star at second. I know we're going to clearly explore it and see what it looks like, and feel like we're married to it, but we feel good about having him there. And Luis is great; he's been able to play second and first, so we'll see what it looks like.
And with Solano rolling in there as well, can you give us an idea what his role might be moving forward as you kind of move around your infield?
Yeah, I think again it'll be fluid. What we've done to this point. They've got Rodon on the mound today, a lefty, and Solano's an accomplished hitter against lefties and righties, a professional bat. But, it made sense for Manny after 3 days in a row playing third base to come back and grab a DH and get Solano out there against the lefty.
Obviously, the Yankees have some big names in their lineup, but you've got a starting pitcher that's throwing the ball really well in Yu Darvish, a bullpen that's been really good lately. What do you view as the keys against that lineup in this series?
I think it always comes down to execution, and that, when you play players that are more consistent and have done this for a longer period of time, it means that you need to be more consistent executing our game plan. So it's really about how you pitches and how he hits his spots and changes speeds, which he's clearly good at, and how we compete across the board during the series.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game show later on tonight. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We begin with a couple of Padres in the hot category. Luis Arraez, certainly in that category right now, in the midst of a career-long 28-game on-base streak. It's the longest active on-base streak in the major leagues. He has multiple hits in 8 consecutive games. Arraez is batting .526 in those 8 games. And he just put together back-to-back 4-hit games for the very first time in his career. A chance to make it 3 in a row tonight. Arraez is batting .419 in 17 games with San Diego. He has been sensational, especially as of late. The other Padre in the hot category, Jurickson Profar, in the midst of a 12-game hitting streak, batting .381 in that span. Profar's major league ranks entering today. I told you, I'm doing this when I can. Every day with Profar because it's been so incredible. His batting average, .337, ranks 4th in the major leagues. His on-base percentage at .431 ranks 2nd in the major leagues. His OPS of .942 ranks 9th in the major leagues. Bottom line, to this point, Jurickson Profar has been one of the best outfielders in baseball. The hot category for the Yankees, Anthony Volpe in the midst of a 16-game hitting streak, batting .329 in that span. Aaron Judge is also very much in the hot category coming into this series. More on him coming up later. The not category, we take a look at the 2 catchers here tonight. Luis Campusano, a little bit cold right now, 5 for his last 32. And you look at the Yankees' Austin Wells, batting .195. He is in the Yankees lineup tonight, batting 8th and behind the plate. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. When we come back, we'll hear from Juan Soto, the former Padre, making his first appearance back here at Petco Park since the trade during the winter. We also hear from Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. as we get ready for this series opener against the New York Yankees on the Padres Radio Network. Inside the loft at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for Game 1 of this 3-game series between the Padres and the New York Yankees. Everybody having a good time here at the Western Metal Building. I've got some guys to my right here. They've got big drinks in their hands. What is that? That's a beer? It's a beer. It's a combination of sorts. Wow. How about that? Cucumber as well. Wow. Okay. They're having a good time. I see somebody in a hot dog bucket hat, a bucket hat with hot dogs on it. Very, very cool. So got fans in front of me right here. Everybody having a good time on this Friday evening as the Padres get ready for this series opener against the Yankees. Juan Soto, the former Padre, back in town for the first time since the trade to New York during the winter. Juan Soto spoke with the media earlier today. Here was Soto on what he expects the reaction to be tonight from Padres fans when he steps to the plate.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's kind of tough for me because they were right there every day for me, and I know I try my best. I play hard every day, but I didn't play as my best, you know. And that's one of the things I was kind of sad about it because I couldn't show them the really how great I can be. but it is what it is. I really feel good that I get the chance to give my 100% out there, but I don't know how they're gonna react. It's baseball. It's crazy. I'm expecting anything tonight.
Juan, you made the comment not too long ago that you learned a lot of lessons here that you think are going to help you in the future. What are some of those lessons, and how have you kind of implemented that this season?
It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. One of the first things is you never know what's going to happen. Even if you have the best team in paper, you don't know how it's going to end up at the end of the season. So you got to come out there and prove it and show it that you're really the best team. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things around in the clubhouse, in the field, all over the place that I learned, and mainly about the business too, about the business side of the baseball too. I learned a lot of things. So for me, I just bring in all those stuff. I can tell you every single one of them because there was a lot, but definitely I learned a lot.
Hey Juan. So, I mean, crazy things happen in baseball, right? I mean, what if the Padres came back with you as a free agent and offered you a deal that knocked the socks off? Would you be entertained coming back to San Diego, or is that door closed?
We're going to be open to listen to anybody and everybody. We ain't closing any doors. Whoever wants to talk about deals and stuff, I'm open to deal with anybody. I don't have any problem, but that's gonna be in the future. We're gonna see if we make it to the future, but right now I'm focusing on 2024, and I'm part of the Yankees, and I'm a Yankee right now throughout the 2024, and my goals are really clear. That is win a championship here.
That was Yankees outfielder Juan Soto before today's game. Soto, the former Padre, returning to San Diego for the very first time since being traded to New York. Soto in the midst of a very good season. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. We'll see what the reception is tonight for Juan Soto after the trade as he returns to Petco Park. I'll tell you what, that last answer, a lot of Yankees fans clamoring, hoping that the Yankees can extend Juan Soto before he hits free agency. I don't know about that based on that last answer. So sounds like Juan is going to see what the options are when the winter comes around, and we shall see what the team is and what that money number is as well. Sam Levitt with you here inside the loft at the Western Meadow Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40, series opener between the Padres and the Yankees. Let's update you on the injuries for both teams entering this series.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at BadaFulkerson.com.
For the Padres, nothing new to report. Obviously, the big news in the last handful of days, the Padres without Xander Bogaerts for a significant stretch, a fractured bone in his left shoulder. Padres sound like they're going to be without Bogaerts for at least a couple of months. And look, we continue to see and evaluate how the Padres fill the void of Xander Bogaerts. And once again here today, it's Jake Cronenworth at second base, Luis Arraez at first base, Donovan Solano against the lefty is at third base. So a lot of guys talked about it in the clubhouse earlier today. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr. It's a tough blow for this team, and obviously that was the big news of the last week or so. Xander Bogaerts is out for probably at least a couple of months with that fractured bone in his left shoulder. As far as the Yankees, a couple of notes on them. Jose Trevino was out of yesterday's game with an illness. He is not in the Yankees starting lineup here today. Austin Wells is doing the catching. Ian Hamilton, a reliever, has been out with an illness as well. Aaron Boone saying earlier today that he is expected to be back for the series finale on Sunday. So those are the updates on the Yankees. Trevino not in the lineup today due to an illness, and Ian Hamilton also not in the Yankee bullpen due to an illness right now. But again, sounds like he'll be back on Sunday. So that's a quick look at the injury updates for the Yankees and the Padres. Obviously, the big injury before the season began for the Yankees, right-hander Garrett Cole went down with an elbow injury, although he's expected to throw live batting practice tomorrow, according to reports. So we may see Cole out here tomorrow throwing live BP, and he's working his way back. That was a big blow for the Yankees rotation, but as we said earlier, the Yankees rotation has been very, very good so far this season without Garrett Cole. Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's going on around the major leagues.
Let's take a trip around the bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at scores from around Major League Baseball. Nationals beat the Mariners already today in D.C. 6-1. Everything else going on right now, and then a couple of other games still yet to begin. Mets ahead of the Giants 6-2 at Citi Field in New York in the 8th inning. Pirates ahead of the Braves 11-5 in Pittsburgh in the 8th inning. Tigers beating the Blue Jays 6-0 in Detroit in the 9th inning. Royals ahead of the Rays 8-1 in Tampa Bay in the 9th. Reds ahead of the Dodgers in Cincinnati 9-5, 6th inning there. Brewers ahead of the Red Sox at Fenway Park 6-2. 7th inning in Boston. Twins leading the Rangers 3-2, 7th inning in Minnesota. In Chicago, Orioles ahead of the White Sox 1-0 in the 4th inning. Cubs and the Cardinals have actually not started yet. They're delayed due to rain right now in St. Louis. Phillies and the Rockies are scoreless in the 3rd in Colorado. Couple of games yet to begin. Really a few games yet to begin aside from this one. Guardians and the Angels coming up around 6:40. Astros and the A's at 6:40 as well. And finally in Arizona tonight, the Marlins and the Diamondbacks at 6:40. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Friday, on this start of Memorial Day weekend around the major leagues. Well, we talked about it earlier, how good Luis Arraez has been at the very top of the Padres lineup. He has multiple hits in 8 consecutive games, a career-long on-base streak of 28 games. The guy hitting behind Luis Arraez once again today in the Padres lineup is their right fielder, Fernando Tatis Jr. Here was Fernando inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today on the impact of Luis Arraez.
The guy's the spark. I said it earlier, he's the closest hitter that we have that's closest to Tony Gwynn. And, and seeing him by going through his daily work and, his routine and the type of player and teammate that he is, it's really impressive to be close to him and learn a little bit of who he is as a hitter.
Manny spoke about his the way he is and the energy that he's brought to the team. Just what have you thought from that side, the kind of person that he is?
It's a spark, and obviously everybody loves it over here, and that type of energy is just contagious, and he's definitely a leader over here.
How much love to lose? What do you like with hitting behind him, knowing he's going to be on base and he's probably also going to wear that pitcher out before you come to the plate?
I better take care of business, But just seeing him in front of me, taking pitches, putting great at bats in front of me, I definitely want to do the same thing or even better. So he definitely he's a real leadoff hitter.
That was Fernando Tatis Jr. inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today, talking about Luis Arraez, the impact that Arraez has had at the very top of the Padres lineup. And we'll hear from Manny Machado coming up in our next segment as well. As always, if you want to get involved on our pregame coverage, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can tweet at me at SammyLev, SammyLev. Instagram DM's open as well. SammyLev there too, SammyLev. Shoot me a tweet, shoot me a message, let me know where you are, where you're tuned in from. Send me a photo. How are you getting ready to enjoy Padres baseball on this Memorial Day weekend? And we'll shout you out here on the radio. You can also comment on our brand fancy new video streams on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Give me your key to the game, and I may just read it live here on the air. Would love to hear from you on this Friday evening. Let me give you my keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
Key number one, the Padres have to figure it out against lefties. The Padres are hitting just .217 against left-handed pitching. That ranks second to last in the National League. Compare it to last year when they hit .271 against lefties. That was the fourth best mark in baseball against left-handers last season. And when you look at the Padres' individual numbers, some of their key right-handed hitters against lefty pitching this year, it's hard to believe. Let me go through a couple of the numbers here. Ha-Sung Kim entering this season, a career .274 hitter against lefties, well under 200 to begin 2024. Manny Machado, a career .284 hitter against lefties entering this season, well below 200 entering, or I should say at this point in 2024. Same thing with Fernando Tatis Jr., .307 career average against lefties. It's well below 200 right now here in 2024. They got to get it going. Kim, Machado, Tatis, everybody in that lineup against lefties. This should be a team that hits lefties better. And why do I mention this here tonight? Well, the Yankees have a lefty, a good one, Carlos Rodon on the mound. So the Padres getting things going against left-handers. They got shut out against Chris Sale in Atlanta. They got shut out against Andrew Abbott in Cincinnati. They got to find a way to score some runs against lefties here tonight. That's key number one. Key number two, bring the road energy back here to Petco Park. Padres got to hit lefties better. They also got to play better here at home. That is a must. Padres went 5-2 on the road trip, and they're 17-11 away from Petco Park this season. They're just 10-15 in this building to begin the year. Both the pitching and hitting has been far better on the road than at home. At home, the Padres are batting just .225 as a team. They have a .464 ERA as a pitching staff. On the road, they're batting .283 as a team, a .326 ERA as a pitching staff. The team batting average is nearly 60 points higher on the road, and the team ERA is well over a full run lower on the road. No. Can't be that way anymore. Padres got to play better here at home. Padres are also 3-12 in night games at home this season. I bring it up to say this. A key tonight in this series, in this homestand, these trends at home have to change. Big key. That's key number two. Key number three, limiting the duo of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Soto's hitting .312 with 13 home runs, 41 RBIs, and .972 OPS to begin the year. Aaron Judge got off to a slow start, but he's really picked it up lately, batting .429 in his last 19 games with 9 home runs, 11 doubles, and 17 RBIs. Judge has a .475 OPS in the month of May. Get this. That's 262 points better than the next closest player. Both guys are top 5 in home runs among major league hitters. Both are in the top 10 in on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, walks. I know for Padres fans, maybe you don't want to hear it about Juan Soto, but look, both these guys have been really, really good, and we know they are really, really dangerous in the heart of the Yankee order. The Padres have to find a way to limit them, to deal with them, both tonight and in this series. A big key in this series is how they do that against Soto and Judge. And that's a look at our keys to the game as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. When we come back, we'll hear from the Padres third baseman, Manny Machado. We'll tell you what to watch for in today's game, and we'll have a much deeper dive into our pitching matchup between Yu Darvish and Carlos Rodon. First pitch coming up in just a little bit here in downtown San Diego. I'm Sam Levitt on the Padres Radio Network. Pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. Series opener between the Padres and the New York Yankees in town to start this 6-game road trip on what is an absolutely gorgeous Friday evening. What a great way to kick off Memorial Day weekend. We'll hear from Manny Machado in just a moment. First, let's tell you what to watch for in tonight's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
If Luis Arraez has multiple hits in tonight's game, he will tie Gary Sheffield's Padre record for consecutive multi-hit games. Arraez has 8 consecutive games with multiple hits. Sheffield's record is 9 consecutive games with multiple hits. Also, if Arraez has 4 hits here tonight, he would be the first Padre ever to have 4 hits in 3 consecutive games. So Luis Arraez, we'll see what he does here tonight at the very top of the lineup, but he's got a chance to tie that Gary Sheffield record. What does he do? How does he impact this lineup in this game here tonight? That's what to watch for in tonight's series opener against the Yankees. Another thing certainly to watch for, the return of Juan Soto to Petco Park. Manny Machado spoke inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Here was Manny on what it'll be like facing Juan Soto on the other side.
It's fun, man. I mean, he's been having a hell of a season, so I'm excited to see him again and see what he's been doing firsthand. He was a big part of our last 2 seasons here, and to see his face again and play against them now, like we did in the past, is going to be fun, and it's going to be a fun series for sure.
You guys are getting tested early on, especially losing Xander Bogaerts. How big a blow is it to lose a guy like that at this point?
I mean, it's a huge blow. Obviously, we know what Xander brings to this table, so. It's not going to be easy for us to replace him. But, since spring training, Shildt and this team, we've been fighting to, pick each other up. And that's been our goal. Have each other's backs, pick each other up. And, when we're not in tough times like we are now, we're going to have to pick each other up. And we've been doing that all year with everyone, winning games, when we're not performing at our highest. And, now this is a big test. We're losing a big player on our ball club. And, it's going to be time for a lot of us to step up and, carry that load and, help us continue doing what we're doing here till he comes back.
We just talked about Luis Arraez, what he continues to do at the top of the Padres lineup. Here was Manny earlier today on the impact of Arraez.
He's a threat to begin the game. I think that's the biggest thing. He's a threat. It's not going to be an easy out to start off the game. So, to put the pitcher on the ropes right away from pitch one, is going to help our lineup out big time, and that's what it's been doing.
What does it say about him that he's integrated himself quickly into the roster and he's made it?
I mean, he's an awesome human being. We all knew he was a good teammate leading into it. I know AJ and some of the players around have played with him. And I know AJ did his homework. So he wasn't just going to bring anyone. AJ hasn't brought anyone in that's not going to fit in this clubhouse. So, he's fitting perfectly fine. He's been bringing a lot of joy and excitement to the team and bringing a lot of new ideas, which has been awesome. So, yeah, he's been a big impact for us.
Kind of like a breath of fresh air. Somebody like that coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good player. He's one of the best. He's 2-time batting champ. So whenever you have that and add that to the top of the lineup, how dangerous we can be in driving in some runs, that's always a good fresh of air. So, we're just going to continue playing baseball. He's fitting perfectly well here. He's going to continue to do that, and it's been fun playing baseball the last couple weeks.
Machado inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Manny, of course, back in the Padres lineup today, batting cleanup and DHing in this one against the Yankees. Let's dive into our pitching matchup between Carlos Rodon and Yu Darvish.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Carlos Rodon, the left-hander, on the mound for New York, 5-2, a 3.27 ERA in 10 starts so far this season. His last start against the White Sox, 6 innings, 2 earned runs given up. He's been really good in his last 3 starts against the Astros, Twins, and the White Sox, a 2.45 ERA in 18-plus innings. Didn't see the Padres last year, but did see them 3 times with the Giants in 2022. 6 innings, 2 earned runs given up in 1 start, a tremendous complete game 3-hitter in the second start. That was at Petco Park. Padres then got 5 runs against him in his 3rd start of the year with San Francisco. He's been especially tough against lefties this year. They're batting .206 against him, but he has been a lot better at home in the Bronx than on the road. A 2.13 ERA at home, a 4.25 ERA on the road. On the mound for the Padres, right-hander Yu Darvish, 4-1, a 2.08 ERA in 9 starts, 47 2/3 innings. Enters today on a 25-inning scoreless streak, the longest of his career. Darvish has not allowed a single run in 4 starts since coming off the IL, doing it against the Braves, Dodgers, Cubs, and Reds. Pitched against the Yankees last May in the Bronx, gave up 7 runs in 2 2/3 innings. Aaron Judge hit a home run against Darvish in that start, but Darvish, again, has been sensational. 24 scoreless innings since coming off the IL. Good pitching matchup here tonight between Carlos Rodon and Yu Darvish. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Padres taking on the New York Yankees, coming off a very good road trip. Can the Padres keep things rolling here at home? We're going to find out. When we come back, Jesse Aglert and Bob Scanlon have the starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game show. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.